I've been telling you for over a year that AI is going to replace appointment setters, and most people for a long time didn't believe me. And only now are they coming around to the truth. Everyone in this space is all of a sudden an automation expert because they finally accepted the fact that selling their crappy little courses on appointment setting isn't going to be as easy anymore. Because what I was telling them a year ago in Bali was actually true. And I can sit here and give you the I told you so. But the truth of the matter is most of you still aren't moving with the times. You still have a human setter plugged into your account. And I'm sure there's still some good human setters out there, but they're not going to be able to keep up with AI. So here is 5 reasons why you need to modernize and switch over to AI appointment setting rather than continuously leaning on humans that are letting you down. Why do you need to replace your human appointment setter with automation? Now, number one is an obvious problem across the industry is speed to lead. Most setters genuinely leave their prospects unanswered for 2 to 3 hours at a very minimum. I can attest to this through my own experience. You see, I often go on a random account and I'll just message all these coaches, whether it be the keyword in the bio or just tell them what problem I have. I want to see how their set is going to take me from A to B, from the first message all the way through to the book call. To be completely honest with you, most of the time I don't even get an answer, which means these coaches and setters must hate money. When I do actually get an answer, in the middle of the conversation, I'm often left ignored for hours and hours, possibly even days sometimes. This modern world of unlimited distractions, prospects have so many opportunities to go and pick different options, whether that be for coaches, whether that be for the problems that you're solving, or whether that be literally anything. I mean, their phones are a massive distraction and everything else going on around them is a distraction. This same reason, if you don't strike while the iron's hot, then you're going to lose them. It's as simple as that, whether that be to someone else or something else. I don't fully know why human appointment setters are so bad at this. I do know that AI doesn't have to sleep, it doesn't have to go to the toilet, it doesn't have sick day, it doesn't have other things it's taken care of whilst it's doing the messaging. You can reply as quickly as you like to as many people as you like, which is why it books as many calls as you like. Number 2, and I know if you've ever dealt with a human setter or even maybe a closer, I know you can relate to this. Human setters are an absolute nightmare to manage. I promise you, I'm speaking from experience. I've been a setter manager. That's actually what led me to AI, because all these human setters, well maybe not all of them, but a lot of them let me down. Humans are stubborn. They want to do things their own way no matter how much feedback you give them. They're forgetful. Even if you do give them the right feedback, they'll often just let it slip their mind. Unfortunately, in this space, due to the absolute morons that are selling them on these courses and on this dream life, they're often very entitled. They think they're entitled to 5, 10k months within, a month or 2 of doing it. And if you're watching this video, I know full well that you're screwed on enough to know that 5 to 10k a month after just starting, it doesn't really work like that. If you are somehow lucky enough to have a human setter that actually is coachable, will take on your feedback, isn't stubborn, very rare by the way. I mean, I was one of them, but you don't come across them often. Still human, you're still going to have to drill certain things into them over time. They're going to have to take time to get better at certain things. Whereas with AI, you only need to tell it once, and the improvement is made instantly, and you'll never have to deal with that problem again. As well as the fact that humans have sick days, emergencies, other responsibilities as well. And as well as that, this is something I haven't put on here, any human that is actually a good setter isn't trying to be an appointment setter forever. They're trying to move on to closing, starting their own business, marketing. It could be anything, but appointment setting is usually seen as a stepping stone. So even if you do have a really good setter, you're probably not going to have them forever, unfortunately. Number 3 is something I'm sure all of you have noticed if you've ever been in a sales process with any of these appointment setters. They really hate building relationships with their prospects. Where most setters and salespeople in general sort of fail, which is why we all get such a bad rep, is that they see the prospect as just a potential source of income rather than a human being that they're actually willing to help. This just causes them to have the same conversation over and over again, read the same script over and over again. It's very robotic, even though they're a human. The AI isn't that robotic, believe it or not. They're typing with commission breath. You can smell it through the screen. This was actually one of my main concerns with starting with AI appointment setting, is that it wouldn't be able to connect with humans in the same way that myself, a human being, could do when I was set. And that was the main point I always brought up with my team when we were putting this together. Anyone could sort out a robot that can ask a few questions and that's it. It's going to be very difficult is getting it to actually relate to the prospect. Have a back and forth conversation, make them feel like they're heard, that they're not being seen as a prospect and that they're an actual human being that we're trying to, improve the life of or improve the situation of. Thankfully, after putting so much time and effort into that, we've actually had clients report back to us that prospects came onto the sales call saying they felt so connected in the DMs, and some of them actually cried on the sales call whilst they were being closed. It's pretty unbelievable really that they don't know they were talking to a robot the entire time. That's how well programmed it actually is. If you don't believe me, okay fine. I'll leave a link so you can go and demo our AI appointment setter and you can see for yourself. And as well as that, I'll challenge you to go to another coach's page where a human setter's behind it and see which one you feel most connected to. I already know the answer, but I'll let you go and see for yourself. Number 4, and it's a hard truth that most setters are actually cat. In truth, most setters think they can just copy and paste the script and hope the next person books. You and I know way more goes into it than that, and one of the things that you need to be able to do is call the prospects out on their BS. If you've read a single conversation that goes on in your DMs, you know full well that your prospects are making excuses as to why they're not in the situation that they desire to be in all the bloody time. Your appointment appointment setter doesn't have the balls to call them out on it. Probably telling them that it's okay, or he's affirming them in some way into this same cycle that they've been in the whole time, and getting to the end of the conversation and wondering why they don't book. Most setters forget that they're working for the coach or the business that can solve this person's problem. Unfortunately in life, when you're trying to solve problems, uncomfortable conversations need to be had more often than not. You need to be able to lead the prospects in the right direction. That's another thing we had to program the AI setter on. It doesn't have these same fears that human setters have of offending someone, or having an uncomfortable conversation with them if it means getting them a step closer to solving the problem. Now look, of course I'm not saying that setters should be rude to prospects. British, we pride ourselves on our manners. Of course there are polite ways to call people out when they're making excuses. Still somehow get offended by that, then they're not the right prospect anyway, and you wouldn't want to work with them. Bear with me if I go on a rant here, but most appointment setters have an absolutely terrible attitude. I mentioned this earlier, but most human setters are expecting the world coming into this space. They think they're entitled to 5 to 10k months and trips to Thailand all year round. Now, like I said, this is mostly down to the gurus that sell them on this dream, that tell them they can work 2 to 3 hours a day and they'll easily make this sort of money and go travel around the world working from anywhere, quitting their 9 to 5, all this rubbish. I'm not saying this can't be achieved. Obviously I did it, but I'm also honest about the fact that it was insanely difficult to get there. I was putting in 12 to 16 hours every single day to make it to that point. Most of these don't want to do that, so let me make it clear to any of you setters that are watching this video, you cannot work 3 hours a day and succeed. You might get there at some point, by the way. I'm not saying you'll never be able to do that, but at the start you're going to have to put in seriously long, hard, difficult hours. You're going to have to fail a lot. You're going to have to go through a whole lot of stress. If you're not willing to go through that, A, don't bother getting into the space, and B, if you do, expect to get sacked by one of these coaches or businesses very quickly. Most of them are sick of dealing with this entitlement and attitude. Why the AI takeover is inevitable and why so many of them are switching over now. Who am I to tell you that you should be switching to AI appointment setting? What do I know about the space? Well, these are the sort of results that I'm helping my clients get month after month in this space. That's one Justin over here. Let me add a little bit of context. This is actually when I was an appointment setter myself. It's the only screenshot out of all of these where I was an appointment setter, not using the AI setup, but here we go. I started with him in September 2024. It was when I just started appointment setting. He'd just started this business. He was at 0. This screenshot was in February 2025. Within 6 months, we got into 100k months from 0. With the setting processes that we came up with, and we've also plugged into the AI ever since, and they've still been working. He's a fitness coach, by the way. I should have added that in. Let's come to this green one in the middle. 161k a month. For a bit of context, this business is already doing quite well without us. We're doing about 50 to 80k every single month. He's Daniel. He's a social media coach. He helps you grow your personal brand and monetize it essentially. Once we plugged in our AI appointment setting system, again, the same processes that we use for everyone else, he's more than doubled his monthly income, with the highest there being 161k, and it's only going to increase over time. Now, just below that, we have Tom. The only UK-based guy in these screenshots was doing about 10k a month before he started with this, and as you can see through this screenshot, he got 10k a week within about 2 weeks of working with us. This screenshot was taken. Now, by the way, he has an insanely high volume of followers coming in. He has very loyal followers. There's a high volume of DMs coming in every single day as well, which a human could no longer handle. We brought in the AI to get him those extra few bookings, to get him those extra few deals. Brought in the AI appointment setter. We doubled his bookings straight away, literally within the first week. Like I said, as you can see, his first 10k week when he was doing 10k months before. Unbelievable. These 2 screenshots are from the same person. It's a woman called Ashley in America. Now, she came to us in around December, January time. She was doing no more than about 5 to 10k, despite the fact she has a massive audience and she's constantly going viral, by the way. Yet again, plugging in these same systems that we've plugged in for all of these guys, except obviously we've customized it for her. First 2 weeks working with us, she did 20k, then she did 40k the next month, and then 70k the month after that. See, as you can see, she's left us a really nice message below as well. But yet again, insane growth, because she had human setters that quite frankly weren't qualified, and they also couldn't handle the volume. We, however, are qualified, and the AI could handle the volume. But I just want to make this clear, I'm not saying you're going to get these exact same results if you go with us. There are a lot of different things from our end and from their end that went into these results, but I can tell you that your setting process, your bookings and your sales will massively improve. But I can tell you, if you work with us, you do the small parts that we ask you to do. The bookings and the calls will come in, they will be good quality, and as long as you can close them, well, you'll be laughing. So how do you know if this can be a fit for you? Well, if you're an online coach or a business owner with at least 10k followers on Instagram, you have a good lead flow or following, and you're still struggling to book the right amount of quality calls, then this is likely exactly what... So if you do have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of followers, and that does sound exactly like you, you're sick of the lack of bookings, you're sick of the lack of quality with the bookings you are getting, we're willing to offer you a free demo, like I said earlier, but as well as that, a free call with us. We'll show you our exact systems that got those results that I showed you, exactly how we can customize and implement it for you. To book that call, go ahead and click on the top link in the description. It'll take you to a page full of even more results and testimonials, but most importantly, a little link to book your call. Either way, I hope you took plenty of value from this video. There's plenty more coming. Please click subscribe for the next one.